Good morning, happy Thursday. Today I wanted to share with you some thoughts on Bryan Johnson and his recent announcement that he developed an autoimmune disease. For those of you who are not familiar with this name and his program, he is a person who decided to develop a routine which involves diet and exercise and lifestyle that will allow him to live forever, or at least up to 160 years or something, if I'm not mistaken. These are his stated goals. And he transformed his body tremendously. If you look at his pictures before he started the program, he looked like an ordinary guy, and right now he looks, I don't know how to describe it, different. I wouldn't describe it young, but definitely something happened to his physiology. However, recently he announced that he developed an autoimmune disease during this program. Whether it's a continuation of some old disease or new disease, we don't know much about it. But based on those facts, I wanted to give you some thoughts, because I think it's very important for all of us to understand that humans and human physiology is so-called a complex system. And complex systems, what is characteristic for complex systems is the internal interaction between different parts, different subsystems. So when you change one part, you automatically change everything within the system. So you cannot just take a simple problem-solving approach. I have a problem A, which is caused by a factor B, so if I decrease B, I'm gonna solve problem A, or increase B, or whatever. This action-reaction paradigm rarely works. I mean, in human physiology it works to a certain extent, but then we face those internal interactions and we see that those can cause other problems. And we never know, truly we never know which one will be dangerous for us, which one will be detrimental. Good morning.
Good morning.
So going back to Mr. Johnson, he introduced several interventions, and those interventions were based on solid science. He's a very smart guy. The problem is that when you disturb the system in several points, you're gonna get chaos, basically. Of course, I don't know his medical history, and I'm not a medical doctor. It's difficult to comment on that. However, for an engineer, that's a pretty obvious outcome. If you take your car and you want to get more power out of it, and you will change something in your engine, this something will change more things than just the power of your engine, right? That's obvious. You will have more noise, more vibrations, different fuel consumption, and so on and so forth. This is obvious almost to anybody. So how come people think that in human body you can change one subsystem or make it better and have no consequences? This is just silly. And we have examples. I think you have examples from your own life. So a big example from my experience was artificial heart. We thought that it's so easy to replace a pump. If heart is a pump, when we built an artificial one, we replaced the old pump, native pump that is not working with something that is pumping nicely, we're gonna get a good outcome. And surprise, surprise, we didn't. Heart is much more than just a pump. It's a system that controls many other systems. We developed problems in the lungs, lung hypertension. We developed problems in the brain with clots and micro clots, bleeding, all those things just because we put a new pump in. So you see, just based on this example, that in medicine you cannot use this thinking. It's pretty obvious. Same thing with, let's say, shunts. We know that relieving the intracranial pressure will help. Yeah, it definitely will. But at the same time, you will create other problems because you introduce to this complex system, you introduce a distortion, and this distortion will propagate and it will disturb other subsystems. So keep it in mind that interventions have consequences, and I mention it in my posts that every single medical intervention has a side effects, and that's exactly why, because human body, human physiology is a complex system. We cannot just deny this reality. And the last thought, I think very important from my engineering point of view, if you look at human physiology, we are designed to die. It's not a fault of the system. We will gracefully die if we don't suffer from diseases. It will happen. And it's not because the system is broken. This is because the system is designed that way. So if you want to break this cycle, then expect unexpected. So that's it about Bryan Johnson and his problems, health problems. I wish him well. He's a very smart guy. Plus, with his experiments, he opened a lot of doors. He showed what works, what doesn't. So we need people like him. However, the fundamental problem with thinking like this is you want to change human physiology piece by piece, and it's not gonna work. It's always gonna be a failure because we have a holistic systems with multiple interactions, and those interactions compose or create a complex systems in which everything influences everything. Well, it does not mean do nothing. It just means that expect side effects, right? Expect side effects if you want to change something which was designed as a complex system from the beginning. Okay, have a great Thursday and talk to you soon. Bye.